So, hello, welcome to this special edition of Microsoft Excel Made Easy Information and Communication Technology IGCSE 0417 Paper 3. And this is Spreadsheets and Website Authoring. This is actually the Specimen Paper 3 for 2023, for examination from 2023. Is that okay? And the time for this paper is 2 hours 15 minutes. Always do well to go through the instructions. It is ideal. Then the major focus of this video will actually be on spreadsheets. Alright, so let us go ahead to see what we have. So you have been supplied with the following source files: specsdix.jpg, the specsssd.csv, and all that. So you just come down to the section where you have the task for spreadsheets, and we have it here, task 3. So you are going to prepare an invoice using a spreadsheet for Tawara digital storage. So to some extent, Tawara has actually been a name that has been used by CIE for a long time now, and I guess probably they bought the license to use this name. They don't use anything else apart from Tawara. Who knows what Tawara is? So this company makes and sells storage devices. All prices are in euros, which must be displayed to 2 decimal places. So take note of this: 2 decimal places. So all prices are in euro. So make sure that you use efficient formula. So when they say efficient formula, that means there are some formulas that you can use, but there are some that are more efficient than others. Open and examine the files specinvoice.csv and specssd.csv in a spreadsheet package. So your spreadsheet package in this case is Microsoft Excel, and I'll be using the Microsoft Excel 2016. So I'm going to go to my source file now. Your source file might be zipped, so easier way to zip it is to right click the folder and use any of your unzipping software to unzip it. So I'm going to open this now, and I have all this. So I'm going to just open this and examine the file. All right, so this is the specinvoice.csv, and the second one, specssd.csv, is this. So what I usually do and I advise you to do is to resize the content of this worksheet appropriately. Just double tap here and it resizes. So select this one, select all the worksheets, then double tap here and it resizes. Okay, so having done that, let us go back to our instructions and see what it says. Save specinvoice.csv as a spreadsheet with a file name invoice underscore followed by your center number and your candidate number. All right, so I'm going to copy this now, come back here. So I'm going to go to file, then save as. Is that right? So select the folder where you want to save it into. So it's advisable that your folder be on your desktop so that you don't have to have much navigation to do. So change this save as type to Excel workbook. Then I'm going to change the name to invoice underscore my center number. Let me say 5310 as my center number underscore my candidate number 4310. Place your school or your examination body or your center will provide you with the center number and the candidate number. This center number is randomly generated by me, and the candidate number is randomly generated by me. So do well, you use your ideal center number and your candidate number. All right, each candidate number is unique to each candidate, to you. All right, so I hit save, and here I am. So you notice that the file extension have changed from .csv that it was before to .xlsx. All right, so the next step that we're going to do is to merge cell A1 to F1. So we're going to merge cell A1 all the way to F1. I'm going to merge and center. Very easy step, right? So what next they ask us to do? Format the top of the spreadsheet to look like this. So this is what we have. I noticed that they didn't actually tell us the size, but let us increase this to 14 and see what it gives us. So it needs to be increased the more. Okay. All right. So it's more like it. It's more like it. Let us see. Wow. Okay, let's just increase it one more. All right, so it's becoming much. So let us just reduce it and leave it as it is like this. So font size is 28. Okay, 28 points. So is it bold? Let's see whether it's bold. No, it's not bold actually. It's not bold. So let us leave it like this. Now we have this. So place your name, center number, and candidate number left aligned in the footer. So I'm going to copy this where I have my name, center number, and candidate number. Let me just copy my name because my center number in this case is 5310. Okay, so please, the center number I just used for these videos and candidate number changes. All right, so just for you to just understand what to do at each instance. All right, so an easier way to insert, they say we should place it what? At the footer. An easier way to insert footer in your Microsoft Excel worksheet is to go to this page layout at the bottom right corner. Just click on page layout. I notice that header comes up. So when you scroll to the bottom part, you notice that I have footer, add footer. All right. So another way to insert either header and footer is to go to insert and show you to see header and footer here. All right, so let us go back to our home menu tab, and where did I access to left aligned? Okay, so left aligned is here. So the name, my name is touching lives underscore, my center number 5310, or whatever is your center number, my candidate number 4310. All right, so this is your details there as it is. Then you have 1 point for that, so we are through this, so just mark it off. Place function in cells C9 to E9. So to go back to a normal view, what you just need to do is to hit this normal. All right, try not to input your formula while in this page layout section. Always go back to normal once you are through the header section. All right, always go back to normal once you are through the header section. Hope that is clear. So place functions in cell C9 to E9 to look up the model capacity. So C9, so this is C9 to what? E9. So C9 to E9, all right, to look up the model capacity, to look up the model, all right, capacity and unit price. So what we are going to do is a unit price of each item using the product code for the lookup value and the external file. So for this product code, what you just need to do is we are going to copy this code here. So we are going to manually copy it and we are going to paste it in this section of our worksheet. All right. So no one will tell you to do that, but you have to do that. All right. So Control Shift and your down arrow key will select everything. So I'm going to hit Control C to copy. So I'm going to come back to this table, select this cell A9, then Control V will paste your values there accordingly. Is that right? So having your value there accordingly, the next thing we're going to do is to place functions in cell C9. So cell C9, this is cell C9 to look up the model, capacity, and unit price. So model, capacity, and unit price. So this is what we're looking up. So we are going to use the product code as the lookup value. All right, so product code as the lookup value. All right, so product code is product code as the lookup value. All right, so we come back to this place. So equal to VLOOKUP, then the lookup value is this. All right, comma. So I'm going to select the whole of this. All right, so select the whole of this, then use my Control Shift on my down arrow key, so comma, then the column index number. Then the column index number in this case is what we are looking up what for what model. So what column is model for this particular table? What column is model for this particular table? It's in column what? So this is column 1, column 2, column 3, column 4. So as far as this table is concerned, model is in column 4. So look at what I'm talking about. So this is column 1, column 2, column 3, and column 4. Okay, so model is in column 4. So type in what 4 and hit comma. Then the range lookup is false, or you hit 0 and close up your bracket accordingly and hit enter. So it's trying to tell us that the model here is what? That. Alright. So remember, what we'll have to fill up this is so that to make our work easier. Okay. Now the next thing we are asked to do is to find the capacity, still using the product code. So equal to VLOOKUP. So VLOOKUP, and the lookup value is still this, the product code, comma. Then the table array is still this table. So select everything. Then select all this. So Control Shift and my down arrow key to select everything, comma. Then the column index number. So what is the column index number for capacity from this table is what? So the column index number is what? This column 1. Let me just column 1, column 2, and this is column 3. So for capacity is what? 3. Alright, so comma, then 0, then close it up and hit what? Enter. So the capacity in this case is what? 250 for product code SSD1. Then the unit price is equal to VLOOKUP. So VLOOKUP happens to be very, very popular as far as spreadsheet or data analysis task is concerned. So the lookup value still remains this, comma. Then the table array is this same, guys. So Control Shift and your down arrow key, select everything, comma. Then the column index number is 2 as far as this table is concerned. So this is 1 and this is 2. Is that right? So for unit price, okay, so we input 2 and you hit comma, then enter 0 for exact match, then close it up. So with this, you've succeeded in doing this. Alright, so it says make sure that if no data is entered in, so make sure that if no data is entered in the product code column, then nothing is displayed in the cells C9 to E9. Alright, so this is another one now. So after using your VLOOKUP, then they say what? Make sure that if no data is entered in the product code column, then nothing is displayed in cell C9 to E9. Alright, so we're going to come back here and we're going to use an if function. So so select your if. So what is the value if, what is the logical test? So the logical test is if this is equal to empty. Okay, so empty in Excel is identified with this double speech marks, like opening and closing of double speech marks. Alright, comma. If it's empty, it should display what? Empty. Alright, so it shouldn't display anything, comma. Then the value if false, you now start your VLOOKUP. It should display whatever it finds in the VLOOKUP. So I'm going to close up my if function and I hit what? Enter. Now it doesn't change your value in any way. It doesn't change your overall answer in any way. Where it changes your answer is if eventually you delete this. You notice that this is empty now. Alright. Alright, why I'm seeing an error or not applicable here is because we've not applied the if function. But the question says what? Make sure that if no data is entered in the product column, in the product code column, then nothing is displayed in the cell. Alright, so we just like did something here. We just deleted this. I noticed that our if function is working here. Alright, so it just for you to understand and be able to interpret the question. Alright, remember the essence of all this is for you to be able to reason critically and for you to be able to apply a whole lot of critical thinking. So this is super important. All right, so we'll go ahead to apply our if function to the rest of these other columns. So can we copy this so that we'll just go ahead to, okay, let's just do it one at a time. So equal to, if, all right, so if, then the logical test is if this is equal to an empty cell, comma, it should output nothing, that is an empty cell, then value if false, it should look up or output the VLOOKUP of this. So remember, this bracket is what is closing the VLOOKUP bracket, so we have to close this outer one by closing it up here and hit what? Enter. All right, so now once we go ahead to delete this guy and this guy is now empty. All right, that is the power of logical functions. So I'm going to undo it now and we are good. Okay, so if at any time you don't understand any of these steps, do well to drop it in the comment section and we'll be here to help you out. All right, so don't forget to also subscribe to our YouTube channel. Now the next thing we're going to do is to apply this same condition in this one. So we're going to start with what? Equal to if. Okay, so the logical test is if this is equal to or does not contain anything, comma, it should display value if true, it should display empty, comma, then value if false, it should look up that. So we close up our bracket and you hit what? Enter. So it says what? We found a typo. All right, so what is a typo? We found a typo in this. Okay, do you want to accept correction? I'm just trying to see what the typo is. If A9 is equal to empty, comma, value if true, empty. All right, let's just accept correction. Actually, I don't know what the error was. Okay, so if this is empty, everything is empty here. All right, so it's working. Okay, so hope you are following me. Give this video a thumbs up. You can share to your friends. So we are through with this. Yes. Now, place in cell F9 a formula to multiply the number of items by the unit price. In cell F9, a formula to multiply the number of items by the unit price. So equal to this number of items multiplied by shift on it, the unit price, which is this. So hit enter. So it should give you 0 because there's nothing here. So supposing number of items is 3, then you should have a value. All right, so but there's nothing there and you have it. Just do what they ask you to do. Very, very important. So place, so done this. Okay, now make sure that if no data is entered in the number of items column, then nothing is displayed in this cell F9. Okay, so if nothing is here, all right, so let us go ahead to apply the if function here now. So equal to, so we already have the equal to, so start our if function. Okay, then it should be in such a way that if this is equal to nothing, that is empty, comma, it should output an empty cell. Okay, comma, else it should do this multiplication. All right, then you now close it up and hit enter. Now, because this does not contain any value, this is empty. How about that? Is this not super awesome? All right, so the next, so I have just 2 points for this. Okay, so sometimes these tags, you'll be wondering why they're just giving just 2 points. All right, so that for me, they should have given 20 points for this. All right, that's on a lighter note. So replicate the formulae entered in steps 10 and 11 for rows 10 to what? 19. All right, so from rows 10 to what? 19. So I'm going to just replicate this formula up to here. All right, 10 to 19. So this is 19. Okay, so in steps 10 to 11 for rows 10 to 19. So this is row 10 to row 19. This is row 19. Okay, so I'm going to open up this to fit in. So I'm going to replicate this also. All right, so I'm going to replicate this also. But before replicating this is unit price. Can we format it to currency, which is euro to 2 decimal places? So let us just quickly hit here. All right, then change this to what? Currency. Okay, and it should be what? Euro. So English euro or British euro. Okay, British euro. All right, so this is Scottish United Kingdom. So let us use this, and it's to 2 decimal places. So hit OK. So you now replicate it down. Okay, so we'll have this. Then for the price, I'm going to also drag this down. Okay, all right. I'm just going to click here and format it accordingly also. So select English euro. Okay, so English euro. So this this is English euro. Okay, so to 2 decimal places. So I'm going to format this accordingly. So to currency. Now, having done that, what are there else to do? Please in cell F21. So F21, so this is F21, which is total. A function to calculate the total for the price column. So this total for price column, so equals to, so you can use sum, so equals to sum. All right, so sum, just going to select this range. All right, so I'm going to close it up and I hit what? Enter. Okay, so apply appropriate formatting to all cells in row 9 to 21. Okay, so to all cells in row 9 to 21. So this is also in pound. So row 9 to 21. So apply appropriate formatting actually. All right. So in order not to forget, make sure you are doing that as you walk along. Now we've done this. So color it. Then what is the next task? Print your spreadsheet showing the formulae. Make sure it's in landscape orientation. The row and column headings are displayed. So we're going to come to show the formula. Just come to formulas, show formulas, and you should have this. Now they will tell you that make sure all content of cells are fully visible. So I'm going to resize this. Okay, so I'm going to open this up as much as possible. Open this up. So open this up. Most times, if you are asked to show formula, they'll ask you to do what? Make sure that the content of the cell is shown completely, fully. All right. Then the next thing you're going to do is to come back to this place, head straight to what? Print, and go to what? Page setup. Please always use page setup. It gives you more control. Change it to landscape. For every action that you take, hit OK, and you should see what it gives you. Now the instruction says what? It is in landscape orientation. The row and column headings are displayed. Come back to page setup, head straight to sheet, then tick off row and column headings, then hit OK to see what it gives you. Now the next thing is that what? Grid lines are displayed. Come back to page setup, head straight to what? Sheet, then hit on what? Grid lines are displayed, then hit what? OK, and have this as this. Now we still have more settings to do. Come back to page setup, go down to this fit to, and let us fit it in 1 page wide and 1 page tall, and you should have it like this. But you notice that it's very, very tiny, so let us make it 2 pages wide and 2 pages tall. So let's increase this to 2 and increase this to 2. It's all right. So hit OK. It's becoming bigger. Or 3 pages wide and 2 pages tall. Let us see. So this is more like it. Now before we print this, let us just go and do away with the extra data that we have here. So let us just deal with this extra data that we have here. All right, so I'm going to delete this. Remember, we just filled up this so that it will help us in the calculation. So let's hit Ctrl P and it brings up this for us again. So you can now have your work printed out, and it says what? The content of all cells are fully visible. So enter the address as shown and format it like this. So we're going to enter the address as shown. That is, after you've done this printing, you are now going to enter the address as shown. So it says what? Tawara Technology Solutions. So I'm going to go back to the normal view. So show normal values. So 2, then you have the next cell. You have Tawara Technology Solutions. So Tawara Technology Solutions. All right, so once you have done that, the next thing you have to do is 32 Acacia Avenue. So 32 Acacia Avenue. All right, so the next thing you do is Tawara. Okay, so it's actually only Tawara, not Tawara Technology. So 45673, whatever that is. So this is actually a text, so it's right. It should be right aligned. All right, so make sure you format accordingly. Then open up this to accommodate the content. All right, so you have this. Then what else are we missing? Are we good? So enter these product codes and numbers of items into the invoice. So have product code and numbers of items into the invoice. So now we can now do away with this. All right, so do away with this and you have to enter the product code. So everything is looking so empty. But let us now enter the product code SSD18. So SSD18. Okay, then we'll have number of items is 1. All right, sorry, number of items is 1. Okay, then the next one is what? SSD34. All right, then the number of items is what? 10. The number of items is 10. Okay, so one thing that you can do is before you actually print, make sure you clear these guys that were here before. All right, we actually put it so that you have a visual feel of what you are doing. All right, so if that is cleared, then go ahead to enter this as it is. Then you should have this. So what else there supposed to do? Save your spreadsheet. So we are going to be saving our spreadsheet as. All right, so save your spreadsheet as, and we are going to call the name of the spreadsheet 17. That is step 17. So file, save as. Then we're just going to select the folder and we are going to hit _17 at the end just to show that it's step 17. Now let's just put step. Right, so step 17. So hit save. Now what else? Make sure, so the spreadsheet, print the entire spreadsheet showing the values. So we are going to print the entire spreadsheet showing the values. So Ctrl P, and you should bring up this, and you have this as it is. Then it shows what? Content of all cells are fully visible. Yes. Then have grid lines are not displayed. So go to page setup, sheet, then untick what? Grid lines, then hit OK. Now what next? Row and column headings are not displayed. So go to page setup, sheet, untick this, then hit OK. All right, so you have this as this. Then what else are they asking us to do? And that is all. Bravo. So you are through, and it's actually a very easy task to do. All right, Remember what I made mention of while we were on this task. We had to copy some of the product code so that to help us have a visual look of the answers we are getting while using the VLOOKUP function and the if function. So while you are printing in step 15, make sure you've cleared all this. All right, then you print the values, the formula as it is. Then eventually in step 16, enter the product code as shown. Then now go ahead to print. Hope this helps. Microsoft Excel made easy, and this is Specimen paper 3 for 2023 examination. Go ahead to watch the video on your screen that shows you more past questions on spreadsheet.